Hello, welcome to another Happily Letter After tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to do easy watercolor lettering on your iPad in Procreate, and we're going to do watermelon lettering for the word June. And all I'm using are my Apple Pencil, the iPad Pro, and I have the Procreate app, and my lettering set that I did for a watercolor lettering set that I did, and you can find that in my shop, and I'll leave a link for that for you. Alright, so let's get started. Since we're in the month of June, that's what we're going to letter. So I'm going to create a new document, and I'm just going to do a screen size. You could do whatever size you want. Actually, you know what? Because I'm going to post this on Instagram, I'm going to do a square. I have 3000 by 3000 pixels, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go to the wrench icon up here, and we're going to go to Canvas. We're going to turn on our drawing guide, and I'm just going to leave it at the default. And I also have a color palette here that you can grab, and I'll also have a link for that as well. It's completely free. And in my brush sets, I'm going to go to my lettering set actually, and I'm going to grab my pencil brush. And again, you can use whatever brushes you want. To get the watercolor lettering effect, you're going to have watercoloring set. I'm not sure if the Procreate defaults are going to work for this. You can try it, or you could try any of your favorite brushes and it'll give you a cool technique. But for now, I'm just going to use mine. There is pencil brushes that Procreate has. So what we're going to do is we're going to roughly letter out the word June, and that way we have a sketch to go by, and we're just going to kind of do bubble lettering. And I don't want it to look perfect because I kind of want it to look like the letters were cut out of a watermelon. So I'm keeping that in mind as I'm drawing, and I'm going to thicken them up. And this is just your sketch, so it's okay if it's not perfect, because we are going to just use this as a reference for when we do our lettering. And two-finger tap you can undo. I'm actually going to shrink these down, so I'm going to use the arrow, and I'm going to shrink it down a bit so I can fit all my letters in. And let me redo this. And again, I don't want them to look perfect for this. I want it to kind of look fun and bubbly and like it was cut out of the fruit. And this one I'm going to shrink down a little bit. So I'm going to grab this little ribbon, or not, yeah, the little ribbon icon here, and I'm going to draw around it and grab my arrow tool, and I'm going to shrink it down a bit. Move it a little bit closer to the end. Okay. And just so it doesn't throw me off, I'm just gonna erase these lines a little bit that I made as mistakes. Okay, and I'm gonna go into my wrench icon again. I'm gonna go back to the drawing guide here, and I'm gonna do edit drawing guide. I'm gonna turn the size up all the way so we just have the 4 quadrants. Press done. And now I'm going to move this so it's centered. And I have the magnetics on, so it'll help snap it in place. And if it's off just a little bit, you can tap your finger so that that green line lines up where you want it to be in the middle there. And then you can just click off. And then for the bottom, I'm going to just draw a line, a curved line. Oops, I have my eraser selected still. You want to draw a curved line on the bottom of each. Kind of make it look like the bottom of a watermelon. And watermelons have the dark green curvy lines that come off of it, so I'm going to just draw a couple little wavy lines going down. And again, this is all very rough because this is just your sketch, so it doesn't need to be perfect. So we're going to go to this layer. I'm going to rename this. So you click on it, press rename. I'm just going to call it sketch. press the N and we're gonna go down in opacity. I'm gonna go down to about 10% because I don't wanna see it too much. It's just for reference. And I'm gonna press the plus sign, add a new layer. Click and hold and drag it underneath my sketch. I'm gonna rename this layer as pink. This is gonna be the first part of our watermelon. So we're gonna go and we're gonna grab this pink color here. And we're gonna go into our brushes. I'm gonna go into my watercolor brushes and I'm gonna use the round brush for foliage that I have. And then I'm gonna start going in and everywhere that the top part of the letter is, not where our green shell is, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start coloring that in. And I'm not gonna lift my brush because if I do, this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna get darker on top like that. And I just want it to look more watercolor. If you do that, it's gonna get darker and it's not gonna look quite as right. So just leave your brush down on here and just color it all in. This is why having a sketch is extremely helpful. And see, something happened there where it lifted up a little bit. So I'm going to redo this E real quick. And make sure you have kind of an even pressure on it because they are pressure sensitive. Okay. So now we can do our next layer, which is the green. So go ahead and press your plus symbol again. And we're going to do our light green first. So we can go ahead and name this light green. And I just label these so that it helps organize my layers. Feel free to do it however you want. I'm gonna keep the same brush. I'm gonna grab this light green and we're gonna go ahead and we're going to color in the bottom part that we have here. And you want it to touch the edge of your pink. So you want it to meet there. And yes, there's a dark spot there and we will fix that right after we do this, I promise. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and color in all these. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our pink layer real quick. And I'm gonna grab my eraser, I'm gonna go to the watercolor, and I'm gonna get this round brush for foliage and make sure that you are on your pink layer. And right here, right where the green meets, we wanna get all of this that's dark right here because we don't want that dark area. And we are gonna go up just a little bit, very lightly. Don't press down too much. Watermelon has like that white right by the rind, so we wanna show that. So we're gonna do that on each one. We're gonna just leave a little bit of that white on the bottom of each one to make it look a little more realistic. And at this point too, we can also turn off our sketch, unless you want it for the lines. I just kind of sketch those in like real quick as just to remind me that I'm going to have those lines, but I'm probably not gonna actually follow exactly where they are. So I'm gonna turn my sketch off. I'm gonna go back to my green layer, and then I'm gonna add another layer on top of that, and I'm going to rename this one as dark green. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do our lines. So grab this dark green here that's next to the blue, and we're gonna use the same brush, you're just gonna do some wavy lines. And again, if you hold down and don't lift your brush, it'll give you some nicer texture, looks more realistic. Feel free to do as many or as few lines as you want, and it's okay if it looks a little messy because then it looks more like watercolor. But feel free to go in and clean it up too if you want. Like, I'm not too happy with that being so far down, so I'll just redo that one. And give them kind of variation, make them a little messy. Oops. 3-finger tap redoes something if you accidentally undo something too. It's a good, helpful shortcut. Actually, it took me a while to figure that out, and I would use the little arrows, which I actually do use those a lot. Okay. This is super easy. So now we're gonna go and we're gonna do our seeds. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rename this one Seeds. We're gonna go in, we're gonna grab the black. It's hard to see on the screen, but it's right after the pink. And that's also the same color I use for the sketching too. And so I'm gonna grab this tapered detail brush because it has this really nice texture where it goes from thick to thin and it looks a little more realistic as the watermelon seeds. I'm also gonna go in and I'm gonna turn off the drawing guide because we don't need that anymore. And I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna just apply pressure in different directions, and I'm gonna just do it kind of randomly throughout. So I have some bigger ones, I have some smaller ones, and I'm gonna do it to all these pieces so that it looks like I've got some watermelon seeds. I'm probably doing too many. It'd be the most annoying watermelon to eat, having to spit out all these seeds, but I like the way it looks. I think it looks really pretty. But hey, you can have a seedless watermelon. That's all right too. And last, what we're gonna do after this is we're gonna do the background. So instead of going to the background color, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click on the pink here, add a new layer, click and hold, drag it underneath the pink. We'll rename this background, because I want it to have more of a watercolor texture. So we're gonna go in and I'm going to use the cloud background brush, and I'm gonna grab the blue and I'm gonna start just kind of brushing it on, and I'm not gonna get all the edges, just so it kind of looks, you know, more cloud-like. And I do not like having all of this covered because the watercolor brushes are so opaque that it looks, you know, you can see right through and it looks darker and it changes how it looks. So what we're gonna do is on the same background layer, I'm going to grab my eraser and I'm gonna go to my lettering pack and I'm gonna use my large monoline brush, and I'm gonna go in here and I'm going to, actually I'm gonna grab my medium I think instead, and I'm gonna go in and I'm going to erase all of this. So just trace the outline as close as you can and go in and erase each letter. And I will be right back after I finish doing that, and I will show you what to do for the very, very last step. Okay guys, after you finish erasing all the blue background from your letters and the word June, it'll look like this on your layers. It looks really cool actually. What you're gonna wanna do is click on your sketch layer. We're gonna add a new layer, and we're gonna go to the wrench, and if you have my watercolor lettering set, then you're gonna have the background, the texture backgrounds that I have. So you're gonna insert a photo, and I keep mine, I have different folders, and I have a texture and backgrounds folder that I keep mine in. And so I'm going to grab my watercolor paper background and I'm going to click Fit to Screen. And then when you go to Layers, you're going to click on the N and go to Multiply. And you can turn the opacity up or down if you want. I'm going to leave it where it is. And so now you have this nice watercolor texture background to finish up your piece. So now it looks more realistic, and you can go ahead and share it on social media. And I've had questions about how to do that. So to do that, you're going to go to the wrench icon, you're going to go to share, and if you want to share it to Instagram, you can just click JPEG. It'll start exporting it, and then you can just click Instagram and save it there. And if you do, I would love to see your work, so please share it with me on Instagram. You tag me at BlackRose613 and use the hashtag Wonder Wednesday Projects so I can see your work and comment on it. I hope this tutorial helped you out, and I hope it was fun, and I can't wait to see what you do.